Did you know on Route 226 you can get softlocked forever by this one evil trainer who trades you a Magikarp? Just look at him, scheming his evil plan. Or what about Route 10 in the Kalos region, where a trainer straight up says, your Pokemon's power levels are over 9,000! Or even Route 106, where a fisherman named Eliot said to be the only trainer in the world to catch a huge Pokemon. I'm not sure if he's telling the truth though. Well, in this video, I'm gonna cover one fact for all 184 numbered routes in Pokemon, starting with Route 1 in the Kanto region and ending with Route 10 in the Galar region. Let's do this. Alright, let's start with the Kanto region. Route 1. The Pokédex show that airs on the TGTV in Fire Red and Leaf Green is all filmed on this route. Route 2. In the Johto games, you can find a man on this route who gives you a nugget. And this same nugget guy later appears in the Sevi Islands in Fire Red and Leaf Green, where he's mining for nuggets to buy a house in the Kanto region. Route 3. This is the route with the famous youngster who proudly says, "Hi, I like shorts. They're comfy and easy to wear." What a legend. Route 4. This is the route that Gary in the anime writes on the signboard, "Gary was here. Ash is a loser." Savage. Route 5. In the Kanto games, this route has a Pokemon daycare, but if you try to enter the building in the Johto games, the door will be locked and say, "What's this? House for sale? Nobody lives here." So basically this daycare went out of business. Route 6. In Pokemon Yellow, there are junior trainers with a Weepinbell and a Cubone, which is a reference to Joe and Gazelle from the anime episode, The School of Hard Knocks. Route 7. This is the only route where you can encounter a Houndour or a Murkrow in the Johto games, which basically makes them canonically Kanto Pokemon. Route 8. The underground path that connects Route 7 and 8 are closed in the Johto games, apparently due to illegal Pokemon battles. I blame these guys. Route 9. In the original games, this route contains the one and only TM for Teleport, a move that never appeared as a TM again until the Let's Go games, and then never again since. So this basically made it possible for ridiculous Pokemon like Arcanine and Slowbro to use the move Teleport. Can you imagine that? A Slowbro using Teleport? What is that? Route 10. A Pitniker on this route predicts Munna from the Unova games, since she says that she wishes that there was a pink Pokemon with floral patterns. So basically, she's a wizard. Route 11. This route has a Snorlax blocking Diglett Cave in the Johto games, and it is theorized that Lieutenant Surge got tired of people beating him with a nearby Diglett from this cave, so he put a Snorlax there to block it. Route 12. The majority of this route is taken up by a bridge, and this bridge is named the Silent Bridge. And it was probably named that due to the sleepy Snorlax that are around, because if you wake one up, you're going to have a bad time. Route 13. Excluding gym leaders and champions, this route has the trainer with the highest level Pokemon in the Kanto region, this guy right here, with his name being Pokefan Alex in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver games, with his level 65 Magikarp. What a legend. Route 14. In Fire Red and Leaf Green, there's a bird keeper on this route named Donald, who uses a Farfetch, which is probably a reference to Donald Duck. Route 15. This route is completely skippable, since you can bypass it by heading to Saffron City, defeating Team Rocket, earning Sabrina's gym badge, and then take a cycling road to Fuchsia City. All those poor trainers and Pokemon. Forgotten. I'll miss you. Route 16. In a Pokemon Power magazine issue, there's an article about Snorlax sleeping on this route. And according to the article, apparently Snorlax is hibernating for the winter and is blocking the center lane of traffic in this route. Get out of the way! We're trying to get through this route, Snorlax! Route 17. Route 17 is the only route with a car dedicated to it, with the car being Cycling Road. Route 18. In the anime, there's a ninja school that exists on this route, so no wonder it's not visible in the games, it's hidden. Route 19. This route hosted the first ever minigame in the Pokemon series, since you can play Pikachu's Beach in this house where the old man lives. You know, the minigame where Pikachu is surfing? Like that. Route 20. This is the infamous route where you can encounter Missigno, where it is commonly found on the border between Route 20 and Cinnabar on Route 21. In the Johto games, Wild Mr. Mime can be found in the grassy area south of Pallet Town, which is probably a reference to the Mr. Mime that lives with Ash's mom, and is probably, secretly, Ash's dad. Right? Route 22. After 30 years, this route was finally shown in the anime in Pokemon Horizons, where Liko takes the bus stop to the Indigo Academy, an anime-exclusive place. Route 23. This is one of the shortest routes in Pokemon, since in the Johto games, the entire route is just this. And in the Johto remakes, it was just removed and replaced with the Indigo Plateau area, so it's not even a route anymore in those games. Route 24. This route is infamous for the infinite money exploit in Fire Red and Leaf Green, since you can purposely lose to the Team Rocket Grunt who gives you a nugget before battling him. So basically, just get a nugget and then lose, and then get another nugget, and then just do that forever until you can finally afford that bike back in Cerulean City. Route 25. Route 25 is Misty's ideal location for a date, which is seen in the Johto games when you accidentally interrupt one. Sorry, Misty. Route 26. The music rhythm game Harmonite by Game Freak has a level inspired by this route, with a remix of the original theme from Pokemon Gold and Silver, and it sounds like this. Route 27. This route is notorious for not allowing the player to fly in the Kanto region, even though you're literally right by Newbark Town, like right there. Route 28. Apparently an unknown celebrity lives here on Route 28, and she'll give you the TM stealing for keeping her whereabouts a secret. So, I wonder who she is. And fun fact, this is the same celebrity from the Kanto games who gives the player the HM for fly for some reason. So she's like going from house to house staying undercover. Next we have the Johto region, Route 29. This route is home to a character whose name is literally just Dude. Route 30. On Route 30, there is a pond where you can only encounter Tentacle and Tentacruel on one side, and Poliwag and Poliwhirl on the other side. So I guess these Pokemon just don't like each other in this route or something. Route 31. There's a sleep man on this route that is part of a Spirit Delivery side quest, and if you complete it, he'll give you the TM for Nightmare in the original games and Rest in the Johto remakes. So I guess he's like sleeping more happier in the remakes than the original games. Route 32. This route is the only route where we can see the magnet train tracks, which connects the Johto to the Kanto region. And it really doesn't make sense because this track goes through a bunch of other routes, but this is the only route where you can actually see it. So, yeah. Route 33. It is always raining on this route, and as a result, when you're walking with a fire, ground, or rock type Pokemon, they will be angry. And when you walk with a water or grass type Pokemon, they will be happy. Yay! Route 34. There's a hidden area south of this route that you've probably never seen before, where there are 3 turns that will battle you and give you nice items, like soft sand, a nugget, and a power herb. And I had no idea this place existed till just recently, like a few years ago. I was kind of mind blown by it. Route 35. There's a picnicker named IQ on this route in the Japanese versions, which is a reference to Ash's Pikachu's voice actress, Aiku Otoni. It turns out this picnicker has a Pikachu, so it's literally her. Route 36. In the original game, there was a man who would give the TM for Rock Smash to the player after clearing Sudowoodo from the path. And based on that, you can only imagine what this man was planning on doing to that poor rock-type Sudowoodo with a Rock Smash. Route 37. This route is the starting location for the Heart Gold and Soul Silver demo. And that's probably the most interesting fact about it. Route 38. Trainers on this route sometimes use Moo Moo Milk in battle to heal their Pokemon, probably because of the nearby Moo Moo farm in the next route, which is pretty cool. Route 39. Magnemite spawns south of the Moo Moo farm on this route, which might imply that they abduct Miltank, since they're heavily associated with outer space and aliens. Ooh. Route 40. There are 3 swimmers on this route named Simon, Paula, and Randall, which coincidentally are the same names of the original judges for American Idol. But this is just a coincidence because the Johto games were released before American Idol came out, but it is still pretty funny. Route 41. One of the swimmers on this route talks about a hit song featuring a boy riding on a Lapras, which is probably a reference to Ash riding on his Lapras in the original anime opening. Route 42. This is the only place where you can get a water stone before going to the Kanto region and finishing the game, since Fisherman totally will occasionally give you one after the player gives them their number, which is pretty important because you need a water stone to unlock a certain area of the ruins of Alph. And if you want to do that before finishing the game, you gotta rely on this guy right here. Route 43. This is the only route in Pokemon that has a toll gate, which charges a player 1,000 Pokédollars to pass through. So it's either that or going through a swarm of trainers in a grassy area. You decide. Route 44. In Pokemon Gold and Silver, this was the only route that the player could encounter Remoraid. However, in Pokemon Crystal, they removed this encounter and boosted the encounter rate of Poliwag instead, making it impossible to obtain Remoraid and Alturali in these games, making them one of the very few Johto Pokemon that you couldn't get in these games. And if you're curious, these were the other ones. Poor guys. Route 45. According to the map description, this route is also called Mountain Road, which is weird because it doesn't connect any of the mountains in the Johto region. So basically, it's a liar. Route 46, Ash Hash Larvitar in this route in the anime. Unfortunately though, there are no Larvitars in this route in the games. Route 47, this is a route where the famous meme of Groundhog being scared of the cliff comes from. And I even tested this dumb fact in this video right here. You should check out this video after this one. Route 48, this route is the location of the Johto Safari Zone, which is ran by this guy right here named Bioba, who is apparently the same guy who wandered in the Safari Zone in the Kanto region. You know, the one who lost his golden teeth in Fuja City? And he even explains that he opened a new Safari Zone because the one in Fuja City was becoming out of date with new entertainment options coming out. And he even says that his son runs a Pal Park in Sinnoh. So this guy has a whole lineage in his family of running parks, I guess, in the Pokemon world. Next up, we have the Hoenn region, Route 101. This route's name is a reference to how routes are numbered in Japan. Since they have routes 1 through 58, the number just kind of skipped to 101. Just like in the Pokemon games. Route 102. You can sneak up on a Ralts on this route and get the special move Mean Look on it, which is actually really good because in the remakes, you can evolve into a Gallade and teach it Hypnosis and False Swipe, giving you a great Pokemon catcher Pokemon. And I personally use one of these, so yeah, I vouch for this guy. Route 103. In the post-game of Pokemon Emerald, a new location opens up on this route, with the area being Ultramarine Cave, where you can only find Zubat, which is pretty anticlimactic. But originally this cave was made for event Pokemon, and all these Pokemon right here is what Game Freak intended to release in this cave. Route 104. The rich boy and lady on this route have their Pokemon holding nuggets, and on top of that, they use full restores in battle, this early in the game. All of that for a level 7 Zigzagoon. Route 105. This route is home to 3 different legendary Pokemon depending on the game you're playing. In all the Hoenn games, Regice is on this route. In Emerald, there's a chance of Kyogre's Cave Marine Cave appearing on this route. And in the Hoenn remakes, Regigigas appears in Regice Cave after the player catches all 3 of the Regis. So it kind of just like hijacks Regice Cave because we caught him. It's like, it's mine now. Route 106. This route has a fisherman named Eliot, who on the Trainer's Eye feature of the Pokénav claims to be the world's only guy to catch a huge Pokemon. And guess what that Pokemon is? A Magikarp or a Tentacool. I'm pretty sure they're well more bigger than this guy's Pokemon, but okay, Pokénav, like, that's kind of a weird flex. Route 107. In the Hoenn remakes, the Flame Plate is located on this route, even though it's literally a water route. I wonder what Arceus was thinking when it hit his plate here. It's a flame plate in water. Route 108. Also in the Hoenn remakes, the abandoned ship was given a ton of new lore on this route, where basically whoever owned this ship was a very toxic boss, since their slogan was, always arrive on time, always stay late, maintain top quality, give up your sanity, worship and praise the founder. Now I'm starting to see why this ship sunk. Sounds like the workers kind of just revolted this. Route 109. There are 2 Pokemon cards that feature this route, with the cards being Meowth and Inkay from the Ancient Origins expansion. But weirdly enough, neither Meowth and Inkay can be found in any Hoenn games. So they must be hiding, or these cards are liars. Route 110. This route has the hardest battle in all of Pokemon's speedrunning. Well, according to Worcester from 10 years ago, that is.
This is the hardest fight in the game.
And I even tested this battle in my last video, where I tested the hardest Pokemon battles in all of Pokemon, in my opinion. So y'all should check out this video after this one. Route 111. There's an old lady on this route who offers to heal your Pokemon in her house. But after she heals your Pokemon, she will force you to answer again if you'd like her to heal your Pokemon again, even though she just healed your Pokemon. And this kind of creeped out a lot of fans throughout the years. But honestly, she's probably just lonely and wants some company, and wants to like heal your Pokemon, I guess. Route 112. There's a 1 in 64 chance that a hiker, camper, or a picnicker can be seen climbing the mountain when going up or down Mount Chimney on this route on the cable car, which is a pretty fun Easter egg, making these NPCs pretty rare encounters, I guess. And fun fact, Poochyena and Zigzagoon were supposed to have a 1 in 64 chance to appear too, but due to a programming error, they will never appear. But thanks to coders, this is how it would have looked like, right here. Route 113. All Pokemon encountered on this route start with the letter S, with the Pokemon being Sandshrew, Slugma, Skarmory, and a Spinda. Route 114. In the Hoenn remakes, there is a man on this route who's known as the Stone Seller, who will sell you stones. And the ones worth buying are the Withered Tree, Fading Fire, and the Ebb Tide, as they are the Mega Stones for the starter Pokemon. But the ones that are not worth buying are the Lowliness, Emotionless, and Tears, which are all hard stones that he'll sell you for a whopping 150,000 Poké Dollars. And hard stones can be sold for a mere $50 at the mart, making this a giant scam. Route 115. There's a collector on this route who owns both Zangoose and a Seviper. I wonder how that's going for him, since they are sworn enemies. But they can breed though, so who knows? Route 116. This is the only route where you can encounter a Skitty, and it only has a 2% encounter rate and 5% in the remakes, which probably makes this the rarest Hoenn Pokemon, behind Feebas of course. Route 117. In Pokemon Emerald, this route was made to be more straight so that the player can be more efficiently of hatching their eggs, which is a nice touch, because I like to go like this. Route 118. There's an oversight on this route where the Robo Lady can literally walk over a ledge to battle you. Just look at that. So basically she's a wizard, like Harry Potter. Route 119. There are 6 trainers on this route that are coded to always walk or turn when the player does. But funnily enough, they can only walk in tall grass. So if you cut all the grass with Fury Cutter or Cut, it'll render them completely immobile, which is a funny troll. Just look at them. They're all stuck now. Route 120. You can find a total of 6 hiding Kecleon on this route with the Devon Scope. And they can be found here, 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 and there. Route 121. This route contains the Hoenn Safari Zone, which incidentally is the only Safari Zone in Pokemon to not have Pokemon from its own generation, which basically means that Pokemon that can only be found in the Safari Zone in their own generation are likely not native to their region, like Tauros or Kangaskhan from the original games. Yeah, mind blown. Route 122. This route is based on Kagoshima Bay, which has an island mountain called Sakurajima, which is actually an active volcano that last erupted on Valentine's Day. So basically this area is a dormant volcano in the games. Route 123. There's a bug catcher on this route whose overall sprite is that of a youngster's. So basically this NPC is a liar. Route 124. This route has a treasure hunter's house, a diver who'll give you evolutionary stones in exchange for shards, which basically confirms that evolutionary stars can be found in the bottom of the sea, which is probably a reference to the Adventures manga, where they say the most powerful evolutionary stones are found underwater. So I guess if you want to evolve a powerful Vaporeon, just find one that's underwater instead of on land, I guess. Powerful EVs. Route 125. In Pokemon Emerald, the player can see past the outer edges of the map, which shows a visual glitch with both the rocks and the water and the heightened cliff in the south. Route 126. The map description of this route says even a pro swimmer would need 3 entire days to circle around the crater containing Pseudopolis City. We'll see about that. All right, let's see how long this will take me to go around this crater swimming. And keep in mind, it would take a pro swimmer 3 entire days to swim around this crater. And I am doing it in under 30 seconds. So that basically makes me a legendary swimmer. Boom. That's right, swimmer. I'm a champion. I'm the best swimmer alive. Route 127. The description for this route also lies, because it says that it's hard for swimmers to cross the route as there's no place to stop and rest. But I can at least count 4 spots where you can do just that. There, 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 and there. But there are no swimmers on this route, so maybe it's half true. It's half a liar. Route 128. This route has a notable circle-shaped island with a dive spot right in the middle. And what can be found in this devious, special little dive spot? Absolutely nothing. Nothing whatsoever. What a troll. But in the remakes, you can find the Adamant Orb in there, Dialga's signature item, which is a pretty massive upgrade. Route 129. This route is the only route in Pokemon to purely be a water route with no land tiles, at least in the original games. Route 130. This route is home to Mirage Island, an area that is so rare to come across that you're more likely to encounter a shiny Pokemon on this route than seeing the island itself, with the odds being a 1 in 65,000 chance, or a 1 in 10,000 chance if the player has a full party of Pokemon. Route 131. You can battle Steven Stone's champion team in Meteor Falls in this route in Pokemon Emerald, since Wallace is the champion in that game. So he's kind of like the final boss, like Red was in the Johto games. Route 132. The map description of this route says that the children of Paciflog Town are said to be such strong swimmers that they frolic and play in these fierce currents. which basically means that these children are stronger swimmers than every water type Pokemon that exists, because not even our Pokemon could swim through these currents. Just look, Route 133. On the border of the routes 132 and 133, there appears to be an enclosed dive spot that's completely inaccessible. Route 134. This route is likely inspired by the Tsushima Current, which branches from the northbound Kuroshio Current up the west coast of Japan and into the Sea of Japan. Because, you know, these places are based on Japan. Next up, we have the Sinnoh region. Route 201. You can play the Route 201 theme on the Sinnoh gym badges, like this. Route 202. This route is the only route to be mentioned by name in the title of any episode of the anime. The Japanese title being Find Pikachu, Route 202. Route 203. There's a lass on this route that will say that she got this nifty King Gym badge from the gym in Oreburgh City, which is great and all, but her team is literally a level 5 Starly and a Bidoof. So basically, she's a liar as well. Lots of liars in these routes. Route 204. This route is the first Sinnoh location that you will ever see, as it's the first location shown in the opening movie of the game. Route 205. This route features one of the most hidden places in all of Pokemon, with it being the entrance to the Fuego Ironworks. And to get there, you have to surf all the way up the Western River, and then turn left behind those trees. And boom, you're now in a top secret place that only cool people can go to. Route 206. In Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Ponyta is literally the only Fire-type Pokemon that you can catch before beating the game. And this route is the first route that you can obtain one in. Route 207. Funny enough, since Ponyta is the only Fire-type Pokemon that you can encounter before beating the game, you can find a guaranteed shiny Ponyta on this route's equivalent in Legends Arceus, in Horseshoe Plains, which is a nice callback. Route 208. In the remakes, there's an artist on this route named William, who will change his name to Kevin when you rematch him. But why though? Route 209. This route has a hollowed tower, a location that the player cannot enter, but rather contains a spirit tomb. And there's different in-game text depending on the amount of interactions the player has had in the underground, and they range pretty crazily. Route 210. This route has the most tall grass tiles out of any route in the entire series, with a total of 974 tiles. That's a lot. Route 211. This route is based on a real-life train line. Notice the mountainous background and the bridge that crosses a similar stream? It's literally Route 211. Route 212. This is the first route to feature a proper bend, and it's believed that this has never happened before due to coding limitations, which is why routes 16, 17, and 18 are all separate routes, when they should just be the same route with that bend. Route 213. In the post-game of the Sinnoh remakes, Game Freak's Morimoto can be found in the swimming pool in this route's hotel, and can be battled once per day. Route 214. This route is canonically considered a mess, based on its map description. So look at it. What a mess. I can't believe they would do this to this route. Route 215. In Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Geodude and Ponyta can be found on this route in abundance, despite both of them being weak to water and the route being constantly rained upon. That's gotta hurt. Route 216. On January 12th, and only on January 12th, it will lightly snow on this route, which is probably a reference to Junichi Masuda's birthday. Route 217. This route is haunted by a ghost, and you can find this ghost by entering a house and talking to a woman, and she will say, "A person? A rare sight. Thank you for visiting. A gift." And then will give you the spell tag item and vanish when you re-enter the house. Creepy. Route 218. There's a guitarist on this route that says, "Do you hear that? It is my guitar weeping," after defeating him, which is definitely a reference to the Beatles song, "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," which is actually one of my favorite songs ever. I love it. Oh, and also his name is Johnny in the Japanese versions, which is definitely a reference to John Lennon. So I think Game Freak are definitely fans of the Beatles, especially because of the band in the Sword and Shield games. Route 219. Here's a very obscure picture of this route from the beta versions of the Sinnoh games. It seems it was slightly smaller once before. Route 220. The little bits of land on this route used to be a full island called Raminis Island, a location in the Obsidian Fieldlands in Legends Arceus. Route 221. There's a random NPC on this route that'll give you a black belt, expert belt, and a focus sash if you show him Pokemon with the same level of the random number he tells you, which is really random. He must have been a martial arts prodigy for having all of these belts. Route 222. There's a Pikachu fan club headquarters on this route, where Manasai claims that he will beat the Pokemon League with just one Pikachu. Good luck with that. Route 223. There's a swimmer on this route that apparently works at the Crasher Wakes gym, which implies that trainers at the gyms are just paid employees that work in a rotation of shifts. Just like any job, I guess. Route 224. This route's map description says that its layout is like a miniature of the entire Sinnoh region. I guess I can see it. I don't really know, actually. I don't know what this map's talking about. Route 225. This route has a trainer who has a Tropius inside of a Cherish Ball, which makes it the only NPC in all of Pokemon to have a Pokemon inside of a Cherish Ball. And this is a reference to the first ever event Pokemon released inside of a Cherish Ball, with the Pokemon being the Shokaten Tropius. Route 226. You can literally softlock yourself on this route if you trade a Finneon who knows Surf to the NPC inside the house. And if you don't have any other Pokemon with HMs to escape with, you are stuck here forever. And I covered this in a video about my softlocks right here if you want to watch it. Route 227. This route has constant falling ash from a nearby volcano, just like Route 113 in the Hoenn region. And just like Route 113, you can find Skarmory and Spinda on this route. So I guess these Pokemon just like ash and being next to active volcanoes or something. Route 228. In Pokemon Platinum, Cyrus's grandfather lives on this route. So I wonder what he thinks of his maniac grandson who is trying to take over the multiverse with God Pokemon. And he actually almost kind of did with the red chains. It must be a trip for this old fella here. Route 229. The two ace trainers on this route are based on Butler and Diane from the Jirachi Wishmaker movie. And in the Japanese versions, their names are literally Butler and Diane. So here are the two main antagonists from the whole movie, and you can make them suffer. Route 230. This is and probably will forever be the highest number route in all of Pokemon, 230. Next up, we have the Unova region, Route 1. Unova Route 1 has the highest level Pokemon out of any Route 1 in any Pokemon game. Probably because in Black and White 2, you start your journey on Route 19 instead. But still, imagine the trainers starting their journey in Novima Town. It must be very rough for them. Route 2. You can catch N's first ever Pokemon on this route in Black and White 2. You'll have a 1% chance of encountering level 7 Purloin with N's original trainer tag after accessing the proper Memory Link event. Route 3. The twins on this route make it impossible for you to play the game with only one Pokemon, since they will force you to catch another Pokemon to battle them. Route 4. In Pokemon Black 2, this route's construction is completed, it looks all developed. But in White 2, the construction was abandoned, it looks all deserted. I wonder what happened in the timeline of White 2. Route 5. There's a famous NPC on this route named Heartbreaker Charles that appears in multiple locations. He appears in Driftfell City, on Route 5, and even in the anime. Route 6. This route is the only route to have a canonical temperature, with the temperature of this route being 91.4 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer and 15.8 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter, which is stated by the Season Research Lab on this route. So I wonder how the Pokemon deal with such extreme temperature changes on this route. It must be rough for them. Route 7. Unova Route 7 is one of the weirdest routes in all of the series. It has tall grass, planks to walk on, it has clowns, and even has a weather god Pokemon who debuts here with insane rain. Oh, and also a random tower with a cemetery inside. Yeah. Route 8. Pokemon on this route spawn in puddles, and in the winter, these puddles will freeze over. So basically all the Pokemon die or jump in the water. Route 9. This Pokemon is a department store, which is named after the route, Shopping Mall 9. And its catchphrase is, "Done shopping? 9." Which is German for no, but also a pun on the store's name. Route 10. The map description for this route says this route is chock full of show-offs. So Amy, Jahan, Carla, Corey, Brett, Cheyenne, Chester, and even you, Sharon, are all show-offs. How are you gonna take that? Route 11. All of the backpackers on this route are foreigners, and all their dialogue are in French. So they must be from the Kalos region. Route 12. It is possible to walk right through Black Malgerial on this route due to a glitch. I bet that just freaks him out. Route 13. There's a Wingull on this route that gives you a side quest to find 3 missing pieces of mail, and will give you the TM for U-turn after returning them, which is probably the first side quest by a Pokemon in the main series. And it's probably a Pokemon from the Mystery Dungeon games as well. Route 14. The gate south of this route is infamously known for the dumbest roadblock in Pokemon, where these groups of NPCs will say, "Today we're dancing for no reason. Someday we'll disappear for no reason." Okay. Route 15. There's a Pokemon Ranger on this route that says they're looking for Poketrains for Pokemon that have escaped on this route, which basically means that some of these wild Pokemon that you can capture might just belong to another trainer. That's evil. Route 16. Apparently this route is a good place to stop and rest, according to the route's description. But is that really a good idea though? Especially with exploding Pineco in the grass? Route 17. The P2 laboratory where Genesect was created is located on this route. And funny enough, in the Italian and Spanish versions of the game, the P2's laboratory's name was changed to Laboratory P&P, since P2 means farts in those languages. So it was basically the farts laboratory in those versions. Route 18. There's a man in a house on this route that buys rare bones for twice the usual price, which is pretty weird and shady. What are you doing with those bones, man? Route 19. There are 2 wall tiles that can be walked through on this route. Just look at that. You're a wizard. Route 20. In autumn, leaves pile up on certain areas on this route, and it will allow you to access parts of the route that you'd otherwise normally would never be able to reach, with there being 4 battles, rare items like max revives, and even more. Route 21. There's a black belt on this route who uses a non-fighting type Pokemon, with the Pokemon being Crustle for some reason, which makes him one of only 2 black belts in the entire game to not use a fighting type Pokemon. I wonder if they're just trying to like punch the Crustles back for training. That would make sense. Route 22. This route's theme is reference to the opening movie for Black and White 2. Route 23. This route's theme is a reference to Professor Rowan's lab, which is probably intentional since Professor Rowan's theme is the first theme you hear in the first games, and Route 23 being the last route makes the last theme you hear in the sequel games. So basically Professor Rowan started the DS Pokemon era and ended the DS Pokemon era with these themes. It all comes full circle. Next up, we have the Kalos region. Route 1. This route is the shortest route in all of Pokemon in terms of number of steps needed to travel across it. It also is the only route to have neither wild Pokemon or trainers. Route 2. The first encounter on this route will always be a Pidgey. So welcome to the world of Pokemon new trainers with Sand Attack. Route 3. All the trainers on this route are school kids and preschoolers. And since this route is right next to St. Louis City that has a trainer's school, this is probably their recess area. Route 4. Rollerskate Kalita on this route said that she took up roller skating to chase after the fletchling that fly around the area. And given that there are no fletchling on this route, means she basically scared off the entire population from the area. What a legend. Route 5. There's a youngster on this route named Youngster Kita, who references the youngster in Kanto who likes shorts. He says he wears shorts in tall grassy area because they're comfy and easy to wear. Route 6. This route is probably a reference to the gardens outside of the Palace of Versailles in France. Route 7. This is the only route in the Kalos region that you can take an in-game photo on, and this is what it looks like. Route 8. In the Avengers manga, this is a route where Team Flare found and captured Xerneas and Yveltal. So it's like a very legendary battleground area. Route 9. The map description for this route says that this route was carved by retired Rhyhorn racers. And fun fact, the player's mom in these games was a Rhyhorn racer, so she could have been part of this. Route 10. There's a psychic on this route who is famous for saying, "Your Pokemon's power levels are over 9,000! Referencing Dragon Ball Z. Route 11. The Sky Trainer on this route named Vitae is a significant trainer in the Adventures manga, as she's a rival of Y. Route 12. This route features the first time in Pokemon history where you can jump up a ledge, and it's by using the rideable Skiddo on this route. Route 13. This route is notorious for being one of the most frustrating routes to navigate through, since it has strong winds, which affects movement, has wild encounters and dirt mounds, and repels don't even work here. Route 14. This route has a man inside of a house who will tell the player a haunted story, and then ask for a tip afterwards. And if you don't tip him, he will kick you out of the house. But if you do tip him, Shauna will protest, but then everyone will just leave anyway. So basically this man is trying to scare people for money and kicking them out of the house. Route 15. The underground Lost Hotel on this route is based on the Abbey of St. Jean des Vignes Monastery. And in Pokemon, this was once a great hotel that is now overrun with skaters and punks. Route 16. This route is known as the Melancholy Path, which in French translates to Melancholy Path, which means a feeling of sadness. And in Japanese, it is also known as the Triste Path, which in French is for sadness as well. So basically this route is canonically the saddest route in Pokemon. So if you want to go somewhere after a breakup, go to Route 16 in the Kalos region. Route 17. This is the only route to be named after a Pokemon, with it being called the Mamoswine Road, because you ride on Mamoswines on this route. Route 18. This route has the Inverse House, a place where you can do an inverse battle once a day, where resistances and immunities become weaknesses and vice versa. And it's pretty interesting. Route 19. This route has the most rival battles out of any routes, with 3 in total. Route 20. This route has 10 different maps, more than any other route. It is very complex. Route 21. The male rising star in this route claims that his Pokemon's nickname is Sepultura, which is a very niche reference to the back cover of the Japanese versions of Pokemon Red, Green, and Blue, which shows a Charmander with the nickname Sepultura. What an Easter egg. Route 22. Every route in X and Y has an alternate name, with this route being the Turner Way. And if you're wondering, here are all the alternate names for every route in this region, right here. Next up, we have the Alola region. Route 1. This is the first route to have the player's house on it. So basically in Alola, Route 1 is your home. Route 2. Guzma's house is on this route, and you can find a bag of golf clubs in his room, which might imply that his rival is Kahili, the golf player that plays in the Elite Four, which could explain why they both have the same battle pose. Just look at them doing that squat battle pose like a golfer would. And none of Guzma's trophies are golden, because Kahili got first place in all of them, because she's awesome, I guess. Route 3. You can encounter a very low level Salamence in an SOS battle on this route, making this the earliest time they can get a pseudo-legendary that is fully evolved in any game, and one that is very low of level, basically an illegal Salamence here. Route 4. Pikachu Valley is north of this route, where you can obtain a Pikachu with Ash's hat. And in the anime, this is where a shiny Pikachu appears with a fancy haircut. Just look at it. Route 5. There's a scientist on this route who will literally pay you 3,000 Pokédollars for having either Feebas or Corsola registered in your Pokédex. Finally, we are getting paid for doing the professor's job. Like, come on. Nice. Route 6. This route is also known as Straight Street, because, well, it's pretty straight. Yeah. Route 7. After finishing Kawaii's trial, Mon will appear on this route, which is pretty ironic and frustrating, considering this man is literally the father of Lily and Gladion, and the husband of Luzamine, whose entire villain arc started because of his disappearance. And here he is on this route, completely fine. Route 8. The Fossil Restoration Center on this route is probably a reference to the Jurassic Park movies, since all the movies were filmed in Hawaii. Route 9. There's a Ditto disguised as a policeman in the police station on this route, which might be the first time that we see in Pokemon history of a Ditto transformed into a human, which just changes everything. Route 10. This route has a bus stop in the games, making it the only route that was made for motorized vehicles. Route 11. There's a black belt on this route that is seen wearing a Z-ring, despite none of his Pokemon having a Z move. Route 12. This is the only route in the game that requires a field move Mudsdale Gallop. Route 13. There's a man riding a Mudsdale on this route that says, "Hi-yo, Mudsdale away!" telling the player that he's pretending to be a hero he loved as a child, which is a reference to the Lone Ranger movie. So basically, there's a Pokemon Lone Ranger movie in this world. Route 14. There's a fixed encounter for Frillish on this route as part of a side quest. And funny enough, this Frillish is shiny locked for some reason. It's evil. How could they? Route 15. If you didn't know, in the Japanese games, routes are distinguished as either a route or a water route. And funny enough, in the entire Alola region, this is the only water route that exists, despite the entire region being based on Hawaii and surrounded by water. Route 16. You can battle Dexio for a third time on this route, who just casually has a legendary Pokemon with them, making him one of the very few NPCs outside of the Battle Tower that has a legendary Pokemon in their team. It's kind of nuts. Route 17. You can catch 4 Kartana on this route in the post-game Pokemon Sun only. That's a lot of legendary Pokemon for one route. And finally, we have the Galar region, Route 1. The Orbital VMAX card shows it demolishing this route, as evident by the sign right here. And also this poor Miltank here. Poor guy. Route 2. This is one of only 4 numbered routes in the entirety of Pokemon that result in a dead end, with the others being the Kanto Route 25, Sinnoh Route 224, unless you have Fisherman to activate the event, and Unova Route 18. Route 3. In both the anime and Adventures manga, Heta appears on this route, but in the games, it can't be found here. So what gives? Is the Adventures manga and anime liars? Route 4. This route randomly has a strong emphasis on Pikachu and Eevee, with there being Pokekids on this route dressed as Pikachu and Eevee appearing on this route. I wonder why. Route 5. You can encounter the interviewers Gillian and Cam on this route for the first time. And these 2 interviewers are the third set of recurring interviewers in the main series, with the first one being Gabby and Ty in the Hoenn region, and Roxy and Oil in the Sinnoh region. Route 6. This route is home to the careless scientist known as Kalos, who combines fossils you find in the Galar region. And this scientist is a reference to the paleontologists during the Bone Wars, where they would combine mismatched bones from different dinosaurs to produce quote-unquote new discoveries. Route 7. There's a gentleman on this route who has an antique form of Poltergeist, allowing the player to register it in their Pokédex without needing to find a very rare chipped pot. Route 8. This route contains both a rocky section and an icy section, representing the gym ahead, which is a rock-type gym and sword, and an ice-type gym and shield. Route 9. There's a swimmer on this route that mentions that swimming experts can swim all the way from the Galar region to the Kalos region. And cool enough, in X and Y, there's a swimmer in the Azure Bay who mentioned that he can swim all the way from the Kalos region to the Hoenn region. So it seems it's a pretty insane multi-region swimming rally from Galar to Kalos to Hoenn for extreme swimmers, like this guy. And finally, for the last numbered route in all of Pokemon, we have Galar Route 10. On this route, Cabby Joffrey talks about an old legend that says that Galar would be doomed if Corviknight were to disappear, which is a reference to a real-life myth about the ravens of the Tower of London, which says that if they were to disappear, then Great Britain would fall. And I actually went to the Tower of London and I saw the ravens. They were really cool looking and cool. Really cool. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to watch my one fact for every town in Pokemon video right here. There are a lot of towns and it's full of fun facts that you probably never heard of.